This week on Music Worth Buying, artists who left us way too soon.
Jeff Healey's Heal My Soul.
And Jeff Buckley, You and I.
Hello everybody, welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name is Robert Kinsler and I'm a music writer and a musician.
My name is TJR, I'm a musician and music writer.
Now this week we've both, I think we'll let everybody figure out there's something that these two artists we've brought in today have in common.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious. But I'll kick things off first with this brand new album from Jeff Healey called Heal My Soul. Now Jeff Healey sadly died of cancer at the age of 41. I think it was back in 2008. And just recently he would have celebrated his 50th birthday, and this album is kind of a tribute to him, but also it's his first full-length album of new, previously unreleased tracks that he's recorded in many years. I don't know how many years, but probably at least 10.
Okay, question, because I haven't heard this. You said tribute to him.
Well, no, it's him. I'm sorry. It's a tribute to him on his birthday is what I meant to say.
It's not a tribute album.
Yeah, it's not a tribute album. This is definitely Jeff Healey. This is Jeff Healey on vocals and guitar and, and plenty of lead guitar, which he's known for. And, very sad story. Many people have heard of Jeff Healey. Many people have not, sadly. Canadian guitarist that lost his eyesight from during childhood from a rare form of eye cancer. So that took his eyesight. And ultimately, and it may not have been the same kind of cancer, he had a 3-year battle with cancer leading up to his death in 2008. But these recordings here were done in the mid-90s during a period where he just was really in the studio doing a lot of experimentation, a lot of great music. And who he brings most to mind when I hear his music is actually Hendrix. If Hendrix had lived maybe a few years longer, he might have been doing kind of the stuff that Jeff was doing. He experimented with blues, with rock, with jazz, ballads, just
distortion and fuzz.
Yeah, distortion and fuzz, some psychedelia in here, just some flat out rock blues. It's like he wasn't afraid to mix it up, and I think that comes across on this collection that he wasn't so worried like, oh, I have this one sound and I have to make sure everything kind of does this. I think his spirit was such that he wanted to experiment. Some of the songs he's written, some of them are covers of other artists. Not any songs that are very well known, but I mean he's using other writers here. And what I thought we'd do is just so people have a better sense of a little bit about what he does on this album. Let's listen to a little bit of Days of the Night, and that's the track that kicks off the album.
Okay, great. We'll check it out.
Shake these blues out, my friend. Don't know where I'm going or what I'll do, but I'll cause me some trouble before I'm through. Yeah, I feel.
Okay, 2 seconds in. And I'm thinking, I want me some Jeff Healey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Everybody, I know people in my age group who are stuck listening to the same 20 songs on classic rock radio.
Right.
Who they need to hear this album. And then again, even if you're not stuck on those same 20 songs, you should hear it. You should definitely, at least that track, if that track is any indication, you should hear that too.
Yeah.
Who need this, but those people who are stuck on the classic rock stations, same 20 damn songs, need a shot in the arm. And
if you like Zeppelin, if you like Hendrix, if you like Bad Company, you're going to love this album. And it's songs that are going to be new to you, which is kind of cool.
Bad Company, I think for this song, I mean, definitely I can hear what you're saying about the Hendrix, but even more so Bad Company.
Yeah, exactly.
With that particular track at least, definitely.
But it doesn't, and like I said, these sessions were done like I think between 94 and 96, as I recall and there are very extensive liner notes that talk about these tracks and how some of these recordings how they brought them together and kind of, how them reach their full potential.
The technical aspects as far as, how much post-production was or wasn't done.
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
There's a lot of details in it, in the liner notes and in a very nice booklet. But, like we're saying, however it came across his voice and his guitar playing, and he had a very distinctive style because he was blind. He played with the guitar on his lap.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if that's because he began playing at age 3 when he was so little he couldn't even hold a big guitar, so he had to, he had to, and that's how but it does lend itself to, different voicings. I guess he doesn't sound like Joe Bonamassa, he doesn't sound like Walter Trout. He has his own style, and he has this big voice, but there's just a real driving force when he touches the guitar to do those leads. It's very dynamic and very exciting.
Wow.
And I think that comes
that
across.
Song sure was.
Yeah, across this full album.
Okay.
And
so what's done?
Very very nice package here, so you can see a picture, and I assume it must be of that time. A nice picture of him on the back. And the inside here, it gives us the track listing and who wrote the songs. Like I said, some Jeff wrote. And then inside, take it open here, has a very nice booklet, and like I said, extensive liner notes about Jeff and about this period of his life when he did these songs. And
for an album like this, that would be extremely important to want to know, especially what, as far as what they did with these recordings, how much did they have to do or not have to do as far as getting them finished.
Yeah, getting them finished. And I think it was a labor of love of his wife and also of the producer of the album. And I don't remember his name offhand, so my apologies. But I think obviously when you hear this album, and it sounds like a full effort. It doesn't sound like a throwaway at all. I mean, this is
that track wasn't.
Yeah, it's definitely a great tribute. And what I thought we'd do now is, I kept debating, should we do a ballad? Should we do another rocker? But Jeff is such an amazing guitar player, a great singer too and stuff. I thought we'd play a little bit of another song called Mood Swing. And this is one where I think it kind of recalls Hendrix, but I want to see what you think.
Sure, yeah.
So we'll check out a little bit of Mood Swing.
Like the devil in the dead of the night. I tried to refuse her, but I haven't got the mind.
And that is Mood Swing, which is off Jeff Healey's Heal My Soul. And, one thing I wanted to say is people might say, well, I don't really know if I know Jeff Healey. He was actually I don't know if he played himself, but he was that famous guitar player in that movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. And it's obvious in there that he's blind. Great guitar player. You see him, I think, playing in that bar, Roadhouse.
That would probably help a lot. Yeah. I've never seen that movie myself.
Yeah, so I mean, that's actually the first time I heard of Jeff Healey back in the day, as I saw him in that movie, and I said, "Guy's pretty good." And then I picked up a couple of his albums. But I think it's kind of important, and like we were saying, not a lot of people know of him. Well, in his lifetime, he played on the stage with George Harrison, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, B.B. King. So he was widely, acknowledged and recognized by his peers, and I think other great guitarists were a fan of his work. And I'm so happy this came out, and around the time of his 50th, what would have been his 50th birthday, and maybe introduce him and reintroduce him to audiences so that we all kind of recognize how great he was.
You've definitely introduced him to me.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely, want to hear more. How could I not after hearing those two tracks?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, who did you bring in today?
Well, so, speaking of artists who left us too soon, it's funny. Sometimes I mention the name Jeff Buckley, and people know immediately some people know who I'm talking about. Some people are like, never heard of him. But the interesting thing is his one studio album that was released, while he was alive, recorded while he was alive, and most people, while they may not know the album or who he is, a fair amount of people are familiar with his rendition of the Leonard Cohen song Hallelujah. A fair amount of people that don't know his name, they've heard that version somewhere.
They sure have.
Somehow, because it's been used a lot, and pretty much everybody who covers Hallelujah, most people, and this includes those contestants on American Idol who've covered it, are drawing from the Jeff Buckley version.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
And if you don't know who Jeff Buckley is, of course, you have to first, and I'm holding, of course, I'll get to this in a moment here, but you have to first listen to his only studio album released while he was alive, which was Grace. And Jeff Buckley, sadly, died way too young.
Very young,
in a freak accident. A freak accident. And but put out this amazing album called Grace, and we're probably showing a picture of it right now as I'm speaking here, which, if you haven't heard, you've got to pick up. I'm assuming that most of the people who watch this show are more music aficionados and are probably aware of him.
Yeah, I would think
for
so.
the most part. But yeah, if not, you've got to hear that first before you listen to this. This is a posthumous release, of course. This is called You and I. And now You and I is a series of just very sparse guitar and vocal recordings. These are mostly demos. And these are tracks that are mostly covers. In the liner notes, there's mention of the fact that this was during his coffee house days. And so he was peppering his sets of original songs with lots of popular covers to keep his ongoing his repeat audiences intrigued and entertained with what he was doing. He had lots of covers. So there are mostly covers on this album. There is a demo of the track Grace, the title track from Grace, which is astounding even as a demo. What's amazing about this is even though these are demos, okay, most of what's on this album comes off amazingly as if, well, this sounds like a finished album, like just a finished acoustic album, you know? Yeah, and the covers, I'm normally not into covers albums. These covers are truly startling. There are great covers by songs by Bob Dylan, Sly and the Family Stone, Led Zeppelin, The Smiths.
It's really really revelatory.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he totally made these songs his own, reinterpreted them.
Yeah, and you've heard it, of course.
Yes, I have, yeah.
But anyway, but let's go ahead and play a little bit of that. And I'm going to go ahead and play his cover of Bob Dylan's Just Like a Woman. And here we go.
Yes, that she makes love just like a woman. Oh, and she aches just like a woman. But she breathes just like a little girl.
You know, what can you say but beyond, like, you know, if you're going to cover a song, you got to do it like that, where it's just so I mean, it's like, if you didn't know the original, or even if you do, it's like a totally different song. And he's such a powerful performer, whether it's the guitar playing, the vocals, just there's just such power there. It's amazing.
Yeah, when I first heard this track, I was absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
And you can forget that it's a Bob Dylan cover while you're listening to it, because it is so unique in its approach. His approach is so unique. You can forget that. While you're listening to it, it can just, you know, and this feels like it could have come off Grace.
Yeah, it does.
You know, it's sound. The quality is good. Yeah. The performance is that amazing and awe-inspiring.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, just even the nuances of his vocal performance on the guitar. Just though, I mean, it's just a powerful recording, just flat out.
And I'm amazed because I'm amazed at how the way that he plays, the syncopated style that he plays, and then the way he sings, where he's not necessarily following a straight line. He reminds me in many respects of Robert Plant, where his voice is just kind of swooping and diving and going like this and coming around, whereas most singers kind of sing in a straight line.
Yeah,
you know,
but he never gets lost. It's like everything he does on that recording makes sense artistically and technically. Everything just and it's like you couldn't you couldn't figure out how to do that on your own. If you listen to that a million times, there's just something innate within him that did that.
That made that performance.
Yeah, that made that performance happen. And like you said, it's amazing that you'd think that this was a finished album that he had worked maybe years on to do or something.
And I'm amazed at how he can play guitar the way he does, sing the way he does at the same time while he's doing that.
Yeah,
you know,
really incredible.
And I don't know what else to say.
I know.
Packaging wise, this comes in a standard jewel case. There is a booklet here. The booklet features a track listing, no lyrics because it is mostly covers, a brief introduction about the recordings. These, of course, have been in the Columbia vaults, and about preparing them for release, and then some standard liner notes. It's pretty basic, and like I said, just jewel case here. Here's the interior after you take the CD out. I do think it's kind of neat that it has the old school style Columbia label. If you're nostalgic about that sort of thing, seeing that back in the days of vinyl. And then, of course, back cover right here. Yeah, I mean, just astounding, this collection of covers of just guitar and vocal. I'm kind of torn about what track to play, out of all these, amazing recordings. And there might be one or two that maybe aren't quite album ready, but still, maybe if I listen to it more critically after a longer period of time. But I'm torn right now between Everyday People and Night Flight by Led Zeppelin, Everyday People by Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to play Night Flight by
Okay.
Led Zeppelin. So here we go.
I received a message from my brother across the water. He said, laughing as he wrote the ends inside. So I say goodbye to all my friends and pack my hopes inside a matchbox, 'cause I know it's time to fly. Oh yeah, come on now, won't you meet me?
It's almost like you could just keep going on, amazing, incredible, just and stuff. And I'm just listening to this recording, the way his voice goes into like the falsetto, and then it drops out and to deliver the line, and it's like he does these dynamic things with his voice, never going into the region of bombast where he's exaggeration, but he does have these technical dynamic skills, and yet it's all about the song and what works for the song.
Yeah.
And all that's happening, plus he doesn't sound like anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's like all these different kind of forces, like you're saying, it's almost hard to describe what he does.
Yeah.
It's so amazing and unique.
And that's why it's just so terribly sad that we had to lose him so early.
Yeah, so early.
After just one studio album.
Yeah.
And, but this collection of posthumous recordings is really something, it's just remarkable.
Yeah.
Of course, like I said before, if you haven't already picked up Grace, you need to hear that first. Okay? Don't go straight to this. You've got to pick up Grace first and hear that, then listen to this. And
That's a good advice, definitely. Yeah.
So anyhow, though.
And I think now we bring it home by saying two great Jeffs that everybody needs to discover or rediscover.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And Jeff Healey and
Jeff
Buckley,
two people who left us too early.
Yeah.
And want to thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. And my name is TJR. You can check out my own YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/TJR the original, and where I do music performances and also talk about other things as well. And also there's my website, which is tgrmusic.com as well, where you can check out my music.
And my name is Robert Kinsler, and you could read me a bunch of places, but you can definitely get my articles and things right here at musicworthbuying.com and at desertstarweekly.com and also at ocregister.com.
Right on, right on. So once again, thank you so much for sharing us on your social media, and we'll see you next time.
See you later, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.